Greetings, my fellow Africans and the entire world. I come into your homes and your minds once again with a message of empowerment and enlightenment, all the way from the African Mental Emancipation Movement. Today, I'm going to speak to you on the topic or on the theme that I have been speaking on, which is wake up, Africans. Mind is the master. Mind rules the world. And today, the subtopic under this theme, which I am going to speak on, is nature unaided fails. I repeat, nature unaided fails. And I will begin by taking you into nature, the things that surround us, that we use it as part of our life or for a living and existence. And so we all know that for us to live, we have to eat. And for a human being to eat, there must be the cultivation of a plot or crops such that there will be harvest. But the law in the universe or by nature compels us that for us to have a harvest, there must be an effort by the human being to till the land and sow the crops that he or she wants to harvest before the final product will come to us. This, no man or woman can escape that. Though we may have some wild crops or fruits in the forest, that doesn't give us what we want to harvest in larger quantities. And so for a farmer to harvest, the farmer must till the land, sow the crops, and then take care of the crops before he or she gets a harvest. Nature didn't say that, oh, I have made everything for you, so just sit down and you will get your harvest. No. Nature compels us to apply what we call the personal factor. The personal factor is what you yourself or the actions you have to take to make sure that what you're looking for, you would develop it and then eventually get the final result exactly as you want it. And so nature unaided fails. Nature, everything is given to us, but we are required. It's a command that we have to apply what we call the personal factor or action in order for whatever we are supposed to get from nature to be a reality. And so if you have a plot of land, the best forest, and you sleep, you put your hands in between your laps and sit down and just tell people that, oh, I have a plot of land, the best forest in the world. The fact remains that you will not harvest anything until you cultivate it. You till the land and then sow the crops and take care of them. And that is our lives. In the same way, if a man or woman wants to give birth to a child, if they don't have an affair and they only sit down to speculate that they want a child, believe it or not, the child will not come. And so if you look into our lives, everything that nature has given to us, at the same time, nature has given us a requirement that we have to satisfy or fulfill. And that is us making effort, taking the right actions, and make sure that we cooperate with nature and the laws of nature and bring beautiful and wonderful results. And so that is it. Nature unaided fails means that God has given us everything, but nothing will work for us unless we apply the personal factor. We take the right actions and the right steps to make everything that you're looking for a reality. And so I have been speaking to you, I've been speaking on the topic, Wake Up Africans. Mind is the master, mind rules the world. And what we do at African Mental Emancipation Movement is the emancipation of the African mind from mental slavery. There are some thoughts, there are some beliefs that we have entertained, that we have accepted into our existence, that doesn't help us. And in my last episode, I spoke about the events and activities that happen in Europe that never happened in Africa. And therefore, all the activities that happens through these ages, right from the Renaissance through to the Enlightenment and Revolution and all those things, they came in to shape the thinking and the personality of the Europeans. But Africans, we didn't do that. And so you will see that we didn't aid nature. And for that matter, nature has failed us. What people have turned themselves into, we haven't been able to do that. And therefore, what we do is we depend on them. But today, I'm going to go a little bit further into our modern world. You see, it is easy for you to look at someone and just conclude that the person is fortunate, the person has been blessed, the person is, I apply all kinds of reasons that you think the person is doing well. But as a matter of fact, if you take a study into the person's life and you try to understand how the person got there, you will marvel and you will respect the person. And so that is how it is with us, Africans and the Europeans. Yes, they colonized us. Slavery, our brothers and sisters, our forefathers came to serve them. And they benefited from that. No one can deny that. But apart from that, there are other things that we have actually not done. And for that matter, we have put ourselves behind. And that is the evolutionary, applying the personal factor to develop ourselves. And so, after the revolution, and then it came the industrial revolution and all those ages that we had in Europe, in our modern world, any man or woman that wants the truth would take his time to study the European life and even the North American, the British, the American life. And you will see that there has been series of activities, series of developments. Men and women devoted their time studying and analyzing, propounding theories, giving ideas as to how the human being is supposed to conduct his life. And so if you go to Europe, you will see a lot of people that have done this. And if we don't even know anything at all, we can go into drama or poetry. One of the greatest is William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare's work has influenced the thinking and the behavior of the British and the entire European, and even now some of us Africans. And you will have thousands of these people in Europe. But how many of them did we have in Africa? None. Because the African never engaged himself in active and intellectual activities that would bring about improvement. And so that is just one example. But today I want to even move into how the Europeans and the North Americans, they've traveled. There is one big movement that appeared in the developed world that have shaped and moved this part of the world into another stage. And that is the New Thought movement. As a matter of fact, I am a believer and a follower of Ralph Waldo Emerson. Actually, Ralph Waldo Emerson and others, they actually form what we call the Transcendental movement within the New Thought movement. And so if you look at the work that all these people have done, Emerson's works, and all the people that came after him, they have helped to shape and to redefine the mentality, the thinking pattern of the American people and even other parts of Europe. This never happened in Africa. There is nothing that we can actually trace to that. These are the people in Africa that received, that took it upon themselves, did detailed analysis and sought ideas from the high and used those ideas to transform, to influence the living and the thinking pattern of the people in Africa. There is none. All that we have is religion. Now we have Christianity, Islam, and then we have actually fused them with our traditional religion. Nothing has happened on the soil of Africa. And so if you take Emerson's work, and you take people like Judge Thomas True in the United Kingdom. Judge Thomas True actually was the one that organized the Edinburgh Lectures on New Thought movement, about the power of thought and the power of mind. And as a matter of fact, most of the New Thought movements or the teachers about the power of thought in America, actually most of them attended Thomas Trower's lectures, the Edinburgh Lectures, such as Ernest Holmes, Dr. Joseph Murphy, and all those people. If you look at the works that all these individuals and this group of people have done and how they have influenced the thinking pattern and the nature of life, the nature of the people in Europe and America, it is something remarkable, but we don't have anything. And so Africans, if we just sit down and think that it was our natural resources alone that has developed Europe and America to what they are, then we are not thinking rightly. Yes, those things happen, but those raw materials have to be used, have to be developed by certain minds. And these minds became strengthened. They became awakened to do all that. They have used our raw materials because they've been exposed to some truths, some principles of life. And so that is where we have Africans. We haven't aided nature. We behave like the man or the woman that has a plot of land. He goes about bragging that, oh, I have the best forest in the world. And therefore, he never touched it. And lo and behold, he can only see weed, wild trees on that land. And that is us, Africans. Whatever we have physically was given to us for us to probe, for us to use our minds, to probe and seek ideas, and then combine it. I used these things around us to generate things, to create things, to improve upon our lives. But before we'll be able to do that, we must receive ideas. We must follow some principles, the laws of the universe. Unfortunately, Africans, we never interacted with nature. We never use our minds to do analytical studies, analytical thinking. And for that matter, everything that came to us, we analyze it from the religious and traditional perspective. And therefore, we are unable to move ourselves forward. I have just given an overview. And anyone listening to me, you can actually do your own research. Read about the New Thought movement, the impact of the New Thought movement, particularly the transcendentalists, that is Emerson and all the people that came after him. There are a lot of people in America that wrote about the power of thought, the power of the human mind, and how these ideas came to generate a certain fire in this part of the world. All the inventions, all the great things that we are seeing came out of the work of these people. If you go to Europe, if you think of Immanuel Swedenborg, the work he has done, he took the whole Sweden and turned it into something different. If you think of other people, actually even James Watt. James Watt was originally born as a Christian, brought up as a Christian. But when he received his ideas to develop the steam engine and that, he actually had a different perspective about the nature of God. All these ideas, all these movements swept across Europe and North America, and it never happened in Africa. And therefore, we have brought ourselves behind. So, in terms of human evolution, how the men and women in this part of the world, where they are, Africans, we are behind. And no one can move us forward, no one can speed us up unless we take it upon ourselves for us to begin to do this. Open-mindedness, frank discussion, questioning, seeking answers. We are not supposed just to accept things as they were handed down to us by our forefathers. That whatever they have thought of, that it was based upon their understanding. So if you look at Europe, if you look in North America today, this idea comes, tomorrow another one comes to challenge it. And therefore, it is always constant movement, constant improvement, always. One of the greatest men that I actually love, and his work has also influenced me, is the German philosopher called Friedrich Nietzsche. I like and I believe in his principles. And it is my dream and my determination for us to create the African Superman. The African Superman. Friedrich Nietzsche spoke about the Uberman, that the human being has inherent powers within him, that he can do anything. But for you to do that, you have to be a nonconformist. You have to rise up against the established traditions, because the established traditions were handed down to us from the old. And the old has nothing to offer. It is the future that has something to offer. And this is the mentality that Africans we have to take. And for that matter, African mental emancipation movement, we are here to expose you to all this. I cannot give detailed explanation within the short time that I have to do this presentation, but I'm appealing to you for you to begin to do your own research. Most of you listening to me, you are graduates, you are university students. Most of you are even in the developed world. Seek the information. Europe, North America did not become developed because of our natural resources. That is not a full truth. It's a half truth, if you think that way. But it developed because there were minds, there were people who were awakened to certain truths, and they took upon those truths, and therefore nature has to bring them the resources that they need to develop themselves and develop their lives to where they want to be. Now we have the resources, but you see that we are lacking ideas. We have everything that we need, a group of human beings needs to be developed, but we lack ideas. And how to get to the ideas is what I'm telling you. The human mind is the power, is the center of ideas. The human mind, your mind, is the center of divine activity. And if you begin to open your mind, such that you make your mind free, you are not afraid of any evil forces, you are not afraid of any outer powers, but you come into the conscious realization that you are the creator of your own realities, and therefore all powers are within you. As Jesus Christ stated, that the kingdom of God is within you. And begin to walk in that direction with a mindset, with a belief that you are a God on earth here, and therefore you are in partnership with God, co-creating on earth here. We will develop Africa just as it has developed, just as Europe and North America has been developed. But let us rise up. Let us begin to challenge one another. Let us begin to question all these things that has been handed down onto us. Now, as a matter of fact, sometimes it looks so unfortunate, and you ask yourself, are people really thinking? When we come out to speak in favor about how we need to maintain, we have to protect all those things that our forefathers gave to us. As a matter of fact, if those things were the right thing that will actually help us to develop. We would have developed long time by now. We are new human beings now. We are evolved beings. We are living in a certain era that we have to wake up. And the only thing that we need to do now is to use our minds, just as everyone is using it. But you will use your mind freely and be bold to attempt the unthinkable, the impossible things, only when you believe in yourself that you are a superman, you are the Uberman. We are creating the African mental emancipation movement. We are creating and developing the African Uberman, Superman, Superwoman of the African, such that these men and women will no longer look at situations, look at things and declare that it cannot be done. But as soon as they see a challenge, they rise to it and declare it is already done. For they know that all powers are within. All powers are within. And therefore, they are under our control. Outer things don't have power over us. But we have power over the outer things because we are the creators of the outer things. And therefore, this is the time, this is the hour, this is the moment that we have to rise up. The African has let him or herself down too much. We have let ourselves down. And even if people have come to colonize us, if people have come to take our sons and daughters as slaves, we let them down. We let ourselves down. The buyer and the seller, who has the power, it was our forefathers, whether we like it or not. The white people only bought the slaves. It was our forefathers who sold their daughters and their sons into slavery. This is something that Africans, we have to accept so that we will stop, accusing people that they have done that to that. We have an apology. We have an apology to render to our brothers and sisters. It is not the white people. If there is any people that have to, talk of reparation or talk of compensation, then it is we the Africans, because our forefathers sold their sons and daughters to the Europeans. The buyer and the seller. We all did, if you have a little knowledge about economics, demand and supply. Demand and supply. Demand becomes higher only when there is enough supply. When there is no supply, there is no demand. Demand will die. And so, if we are to look at things from this perspective, then those of us on the African continent, we have to rise up and begin to take the right steps to reconcile ourselves with our brothers and sisters. These are old issues, but we have to walk past it and bring one another together. The African, the black person will only be respected only when we are using our minds collectively, constructively and positively, such that wherever a black person is in charge of any activity, we can only see progress. We can only see development. That is the only time that we will be respected. But this will only happen only when we begin to seek the truth and begin to have open-mindedness, such that the ideas comes, we analyze it. Those that are good for us, we take it. Those that are not good for us, we throw them away. Old things goes, new thing comes. That is how Europe, that is how America, that is how all other developed worlds are moving. We are moving forward. Let us wake up. Let us wake up, my fellow Africans. And so nature unaided fails. We let ourselves down by not using our minds. Our forefathers didn't actually interact with nature. They thought of just looking at it and depending on God. And therefore, they never attempted to create, they never attempted to do something big until the Europeans came and took all that they were worshiping. The black man sat down to worship trees. They became timber for the white people. The rivers and other things that our forefathers were calling their gods, the white men came and dredged and took all the minerals in these rivers. So what are we talking about? It is because we didn't aid nature. And as it is, nature unaided fails. It's just as if you have the best forest in this world, if you don't cultivate it, if you don't work on that land, you will never have a harvest. In the same way, it doesn't matter the natural resources or whatever that surrounds us. If we don't use our mind to turn those things into goods, finished goods, we will never prosper. That is the fact. But we can only do this only when we begin to understand, when we have that mindset that we are powerful human beings. We are supermen and women. We are superheroes, just like any other people. And therefore, all our challenges are here for us to surmount them and turn them into opportunities. That is the truth. And that is when you become the African Superman, the Uberman. If you haven't read anything about Friedrich Nietzsche, please do well to look for some of these things and read. And open your mind. Be an open-minded person. There are a lot of people, there are a lot of philosophers, a lot of thinkers in Europe and North America that have come to shape, move their societies, develop their people to where they are. What kind of thinker can we talk of? Philosophical thinker or whatever? Who can we mention in Africa? Now is the time for us to rise up and come to the realization and accept the truth that we are in this world to co-create with God, to make the life of humanity better. And the only way we can do this is to aid nature by looking at everything that is around us and begin to work on it by the correct use of the mind. And that is when we're going to fulfill that wonderful statement made by St. Paul, that be ye transformed by the continual renewal of your minds. Let us transform our lives. Let us transform ourselves. Let us transform the African personality from the timid, weak-minded to the strong and powerful thinker who does not fall, who does not crumble before difficulties, but he stands and surmount them and overcome them and brings out solutions to solve them. And that is where we say we have the Superman, the African Uberman. That is it. So nature unaided fails. We will never go forward until we begin to look at some of these things with the right perspective, seeking the right ideas, seeking the truth and apply them. You are here to interact with nature. You are here to probe. You are here to seek. You are here to ask for answers to everything that confronts you. And once you take this mental attitude, you will definitely find the answer. So rise up. Let us rise up, Africans. No one has cheated us. We have cheated ourselves. No one has let us down. We have let ourselves down. As a matter of fact, enough is enough for us. Accusing people and all those things. When we have Africa, all our natural resources under the belly of our land, even if they have taken some, we even have more? More are being discovered. Even the discoveries are not done by us, but they are done by the very people that we are accusing. Then what are we talking about? Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. We need to free our mind from past events. We need to free our mind from old traditions and these things that has made us timid people, that are afraid of situations, that are afraid to confront challenges. We need to emancipate ourselves. And this is the time you have to emancipate yourself. And that is by you accepting the truth that you are made, created and born in the image and the likeness of God. And the power that any other human being has on earth here, you have it. But you haven't been awakened to this, and you haven't actually activated your powers. And now is the time that we're going to activate our powers and develop our lands and invite our brothers, the white, the Asians, the Latinos, or whatever, from every part of the world. Hey, come. This is a new Africa. This is how we have created. Come and let us enjoy. Come and taste the goodness of our motherland, Africa. And that is when we say, or we can stand up and declare that we are actually partaking in the ever movement of the human race, helping and paying our contribution to the development and the evolution of the human mind, of the human race. And all this has to be done by the correct and constructive use of our minds. So, once again, let me remind you, the topic is, or the theme is, Wake Up Africans. Mind is the master. Mind rules the world. Mind rules the world. Let us not have all our natural resources, but if we develop our minds, the resources will come from different places to us. Let us forget about our natural resources and develop our minds. All our resources will be meaningful and useful to us all of a sudden. That is it. So, let us rise up. I take this opportunity once again to invite you to subscribe to our channel and be part of our community. The dream and the determination is the creation of the new Africa, a new black race, a new African and a black people who think and believe in themselves and see themselves at the center of everything. And therefore, they are here to make a contribution to the development of humanity. And therefore, we look at our difficulties, we look at our challenges, and then we use our minds to combine our resources to create solutions and invite our fellow human beings from all parts of the world to come and dwell amongst us and enjoy what we have created. It is good. We enjoy America. We enjoy Europe. We enjoy whatever. Men and women actually develop it. So let us emancipate ourselves from that mental bondage that we have been cheated by other people. They have used our natural resources to develop their land. It's a half-truth. If we develop our land, we also get the resources from somewhere to even add to ours. And therefore, let us emancipate ourselves from that and now begin to think as true human beings, powerful, and enlightened, moving in a direction with only one mentality, with only one thought, that you are the creator of your own realities. I am the creator of my own realities. All of us put together, we are the creator of our own reality. Therefore, we create the right conditions, the right Africa, the right personality, the right black people that we desire, such that all men and women's attention will turn to us. And as I've always been saying, we are not against anyone. We are not competing with anyone. We appreciate all that our fellow white and Asians are doing. Ours is to brighten our corner and then add it to what they have done, and the world would be a better place. Imagine the world that we have Africa becoming like Europe. Let's say Accra is developed to the level of San Francisco. Nairobi becoming like Washington. Abuja developing to become like London. Look at this scenario, saying that what you see in the developed world, when you come to Africa, you see it. We become one. The world has become truly a global village that any man or woman can just move and live anywhere and feel comfortable and enjoy it. And actually, Africa will be a welcoming place to all human beings because we have very good weather. Therefore, let us begin to aid nature and let us make our place a place that men and women comes to live and enjoy the beauty and the glory of God. That we will see diversity. We will see all men and women on the continent of Africa. That is the dream. And so, let me remind you once again, please, don't forget, click on the subscribe button and join us and be part of us. And let us make the dream of Dr. Martin Luther King a reality on the land of Africa, that the black race, the children of the black race, the white race, the Asian race, all people, Indians, living side by side, enjoying and showing the glory of God on the continent of Africa, just as it is in Europe and North America. That is my message for you. Once again, my name is Emmanuel Kwejo Mensah, and I am the co-founder of the African Mental Emancipation Movement and Eagle Mentality Group. Our dream and determination, our purpose of existence, is to bring this awareness and this truth to you and all our fellow Africans, that this is the hour, this is the time. Therefore, let us rise up and let us develop ourselves. Let us begin to seek the truth, and let us look at what has happened in other lands, and let us look at it and emulate it, and use that truth and those principles to develop ourselves and our lands, such that the world will be a better place for all men and women, regardless of where we find ourselves. And Africa too will play its part, will pay our contribution to the development of humanity. Once again, you can contact us through the email provided at the end of the video, or leave a note on our channel after you subscribe, and we'll be more than happy to contact you. But don't forget, mind is the master. Mind rules the world. Thank you, and God bless you.